Welcome to another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist. I am your host, Dennis Richkovsky. Some of you recognize me as the co-owner of Flip Flops Donuts, and some of you know me as your broker of real estate, who specializes in waterfront and waterview properties along the Crystal Coast, especially on Bogue Banks and in my town of Emerald Isle, North Carolina. On this channel, you will find essential information from the inside scoops on buying and selling houses to how to live with the ocean, rivers, and sounds that define the Crystal Coast. Today's episode is all about the current real estate conditions here on the Crystal Coast. Whether you visit here occasionally or live here full time, current real estate conditions is a story that deserves telling. Before I begin, please subscribe to my video channel now or at the end of this episode. You don't need a weatherman to tell you which way the wind is blowing, and you don't need a real estate agent to tell you that it is a seller's market here on the Crystal Coast. There are several indicators, not the least of which is the lack of inventory. Prior to Hurricane Florence, over 13,000 properties were for sale in our local multiple listing area. Immediately following Florence, the number of available properties dropped to under 9,000. As thousands of homes for sale were now damaged by high winds, rain, storm surge, and in need of major cleanup. Two more named hurricanes inflicted even more damage in 2019 and 2020. Homeowners were, and some still are, faced with a rough road of recovery to returning to a waterlogged home, making an insurance claim, and dealing with all the restoration work. Selling a home after a house is damaged by a hurricane is an overwhelming process, and it is important that homeowners keep calm and focus on what needs to be done to return their property to a sellable condition by recreating a space that buyers will enjoy spending some cash on. Most homes with hurricane damage have warped hardwood floors, waterlogged electrical equipment, furniture, and sheetrock, along with soggy mattresses and carpets, and all needs to be discarded immediately. The scope of these repairs required after such a disaster is so overwhelming that homeowners will need to seek services of contractors, inspectors, and restoration companies specializing in assessing damage and working on rebuilding these damaged homes. That leads to another bottleneck: finding qualified contractors, and contractors finding qualified journeyman carpenters, electricians, painters, roofers, etc. And while the work is being done, a limited number of building inspectors are traveling the length and width of Carteret County approving repairs. All of these steps, from returning to a waterlogged home to contracting an insurance adjuster to finding a contractor, takes time. And then, of course, there is the shortage of building materials. Even if homeowners could jump through all the previous hoops without falling, finding lumber, shingle, nails, hardware, and so on remains a challenge more than 2 years after Florence left the area. No wonder numerous homes damaged by Hurricane Florence remain in disrepair. Oh, and the Crystal Coast also had to deal with named hurricanes in 2019 and 2020. But hurricanes alone are not the only force precipitating this seller's market. Another force is low interest rates. Mortgage interest rates are closely related to Treasury yields, and right now the Treasury rates are at historic lows. Low interest rates make mortgage lenders very competitive, which means more buyers can look forward to getting mortgage loans with very favorable terms. That brings out more buyers. And with low interest rates, buyers can now qualify for more mortgage. Both factors give home buyers more buying power. Home buyers will be able to purchase larger homes for the same amount as a small home or condo more than a year ago. This makes it very ideal for buyers who face difficulty in looking for a home within their price range, as more options become available. Home sellers benefit from declining interest rates as well, since more potential buyers will be able to afford their home. It is an optimal time to put a home on the market, especially with mortgage rates not expected to increase dramatically anytime soon. As if decreased inventory and lower interest rates weren't enough to precipitate a seller's market here along the Crystal Coast, A virus named COVID-19 made its presence known in early 2020. And this brings me to the third and perhaps most important reason for the current seller's market, and that is location. Carteret County and the Crystal Coast are the easternmost part of North Carolina and the United States for that matter. No one travels through Carteret County to get anywhere else. In other words, as I like to describe it, we are a destination spot. Maybe not like St. Martin, the ideal vacation destination spot, but a destination spot nonetheless. But isolation is not enough. Our president decided to ignore COVID-19, and his inactions enabled the virus to explode across the entire country, especially in populous areas. The president's inaction forced forward-thinking governors like Roy Cooper here in North Carolina to temporarily close businesses, churches, schools, and other places where people gather. And with people working remotely from home and children learning remotely, well, suddenly whole families can choose where to self-isolate. And would you rather self-isolate in a major inland city or self-isolate at an isolated beach like the Crystal Coast, which has experienced very few numbers of COVID-19 incidences? The answer to this question explains why many potential sellers along the Crystal Coast have either taken their homes off the market or never put them on the market once the impact of COVID-19 was fully understood. Together, all these factors, hurricanes, making repairs to waterlogged homes, low interest rates, seeking refuge from COVID-19, makes the real estate market here along the Crystal Coast a massive, raging seller's market. I recently showed 2 clients a couple of homes. The first had been on the market for 7 days and already had 6 offers. The second had been on the market for 5 days and it too had multiple offers. Both selling agents told me that the homeowners had set the next day as the cutoff for offers to purchase, meaning I had less than 24 hours to get my buyers up to speed on these 2 homes, to get them qualified for the offer they would be making, and getting these offers written and in the hands of the selling agents by noon the next day. And of course, to just add a tad more pressure, my buyers said, "Get us that home." We didn't get the first house, but I was able to craft an offer that rose to the top of the 6 other offers for the second home. My buyers closed on their new home this week, some 7 weeks after their offer was accepted. So, if you liked what you learned about the current seller's market here on the Crystal Coast, and you want to participate as either a buyer or seller, call me at 919-308-2292. Also, please subscribe to my channel below and return next week to the same bat channel at the same bat time of 9 a.m. on Thursday for another episode of Emerald Isle Vacation Home Specialist.